So TCU and Hailey Van Lith have had a mad year, and it has culminated with the team winning the Big 12 championship. Yeah, they won the Big 12. This is a team that, I'm not joking, people wrote off. They completely wrote off TCU, and they were led by a player that people completely won't, like, they won't, like, they wrote off. People won't give Hailey Van Lith the credit she deserves. Still, to this point, to this day, people still don't give Hailey Van Lith the credit that she deserves, because Hailey Van Lith is a hell of a player. She is a hell of a player, and I don't understand why there are not first round, like, conversations. I don't know why there are not first round pick conversations for her, because, like, we're looking at her versus Georgia Amore. I think there's an argument to be made for Van Lith over Georgia Amore, and then obviously putting butts in seats and selling jerseys helps as well. And Hailey Van Lith, I'm sorry, like, she's been unbelievable. Like, you were looking at some tweets here. TCU wins the Big 12 title, completing its remarkable program tournament. This is the first conference title since 2005 when the school played in the CUSA. The Horned Frogs are officially going dancing for the first time since 2010. Since 2010. This is a team that people expected to not make the tournament. They were going to be in the NIT, or whatever the women's equivalent to the NIT is. That's what they were expected to be. They had Sedona Prince, they had Hailey Van Lith, and yet the best player by 100 miles on this team is Hailey Van Lith. And still people are talking about Sedona Prince, who's a year older than Hailey Van Lith and has obviously the off the court issues. And people are still talking about Sedona Prince being a first rounder and refusing to put Hailey Van Lith in. I'm sorry. Van Lith, Lucy Olsen, and Isaiah James they're all score first, undersized guards. The difference is that Van Lith and Lucy Olsen can run the one, and Van Lith can really run the one in the WNBA. Everyone's saying, oh, she's a two guard. She's a two guard in the way Caitlin Clark is a two guard, because their job is not dribble, dump the ball into the big and stand there. They're in that. She likes to play in space. She looks for her shot first, but she can facilitate. It's the modern point guard. She's not like Kelsey Mitchell, who just is a two guard, can't pass at all. She's the modern point guard. She's a modern point guard, any team playing a modern system. I've always said it when it comes to the Sparks, that if the Sparks, when they had 13, I'm like, if they need to draft Van Lith at 13. But, like, for me, there are so many teams. It's like, if you are the Aces, you draft Hailey Van Lith. Like, Dana Evans as the backup one. No, like, maybe. But I really like Van Lith. You draft Van Lith to the Aces. You draft Van Lith somewhere where she's in a big market, where she can sell your jerseys, and she can come in and she can just hoop. She can just come in and hoop. Because for the lack of a better word, she's a hooper. She's a hooper as much as anything. And there's a reason why Van Lith had all that hype. And what a year for Van Lith. Transfers from TCU to LSU, leads them to their first ever Big 12 regular season title, Big 12 Player of the Year, and leads them to their first ever Big 12 tournament. Like, let the apologies be as loud as the disrespect when it comes to Hailey Van Lith. I'm sorry, I'm not taking that. The amount of people said, oh, I disrespected Hailey Van Lith. How many? You will never find a video on this channel with me not saying Hailey Van Lith was going to be elite. And my logic with Hailey Van Lith is that she had 3 really good years at Louisville, and Louisville were good. Like, they made it an Elite 8. She was unbelievably good when she played for Team USA growing up. She had 3 great years at Louisville. She was ranked higher than Caitlin Clark in some high school things. And obviously high school doesn't matter that much, but she was really good in college. She had 3 real good years in college. And then, even though she had a real bad year at LSU, she then went and played with Team USA. I know it was 3-on-3, but she was outplaying Ryan Howard, outplaying Dearica Hamby, outplaying all of them in 3-on-3. She was the best player. And she was, like, going up against WNBA level, like, elite level guards and cooking them on the perimeter. Like, they couldn't stop her. And then she went to TCU, where they play a more modern offense. So it's like, why wasn't this going to work out? And I think people are like, oh, it's easy to talk about in hindsight. No, it's not. I'm talking the same reasons why I'm hyping up Hailey Van Lith right now. I was hyping up Hailey Van Lith for 6 months ago. Like, it was, well, not even 6 months ago. When was it? 3 months ago, before it started. Like, it was an obvious right choice. It was an obvious right choice. Ironically, I think had she gone to Iowa, and say if Lucy Olsen Lucy Olsen brilliant at Iowa. Let's say if Lucy Olsen didn't work and she chose Iowa instead of TCU, I think she's in a similar enough position. I think Iowa make a run for that Big Ten tournament and she looks incredible. But like, I don't understand why a person can have how people like, again, this is what I always say, where it's like, I think an awful lot of when it comes to WNBA media, and I also think a lot of, like, not a lot of WNBA front offices, but there are WNBA front offices or people working in WNBA organizations that literally do not know basketball. Like, there is no way that you look at somebody who has, in their entire basketball life, had one bad year and think that they were, and blame and say the player sucks because of one bad year, ignore the whole body of work before that, and like stick with that like opinion even when she's back playing her best season ever, just because she had a bad year and an awful game against Caitlin Clark. She was terrible. But again, Kim Mulkey put Hailey Van Lith on Caitlin Clark. That's Kim Mulkey's fault. I'm sorry. But like, we can be honest here. There are people, especially in the WNBA media, most of them don't know basketball. The people that were writing off Hailey Van Lith. And that was the thing. It was like, I remember ESPN's article, the top 25 college basketball players. And I'm literally like scrolling up. And as I was scrolling through, I remember in the video being like, geez, they've ranked Hailey Van Lith very high. And I was at about 7. And I'm like, gee, they've ranked Hailey Van Lith in the top 5? And I was like, they didn't rank her in the top 25? It was like when Bleacher Report did their redraft in the NBA draft and they said Kalel Ware would go down in a redraft. It's like there are people in the media that do not watch basketball. And their logic for Van Lith was so dumb. Yeah, she got absolutely embarrassed by Caitlin Clark when she was left out for dead. But like Raven Johnson in 2023 got embarrassed by Caitlin Clark. Still hyped up as the best defender in college basketball. In fairness, did a great job in 2024 on her. Who hasn't been embarrassed on the defensive end by Caitlin Clark? Like, who hasn't been? But like, with Van Lith, she is a player that I've never seen it happen, that one bad season. She was expected to be a first round pick in 2024. And she was then, people were talking about her in this year's draft, which wasn't even as good as 2024. They were talking about her last year if she had gone, that she might have gone undrafted. I'm just going to read out names that were taken in the 2024 WNBA draft. And let's just take a few of these names. And by the way, like, Van Lith is probably making a WNBA roster. We can be honest here. Van Lith's probably making a roster. So, she probably wouldn't have been in the first round. So, we have got Breanna Maxwell, Diasia Fair, and again, understandable with those, Esmery Martinez, Tayana Jackson, Isabel Borlaise, Kaylin Truog, Helena Puello, Jessica Carter. In fairness, Liz Kitley's going to play. And in the third round, Charisma Osborne. In fairness, I think she did play, did she? Mackenzie Holmes. Okay. Leilani Correa, Mackenzie Forbes, Jazz Shelley, Natja Klassens, Kiki Jefferson, who actually played in Unrivaled, in fairness to her, Ashley Owusu, Abby Sue, Caitlin Davis, Angel Jackson. These were all players that they thought Hailey Van Lith had no chance of being drafted over. They thought she had no chance of being drafted over those players. And in this year, there are players you've never heard of that'll be in the third round. And they said Hailey Van Lith was going to go undrafted this year. No, obviously, Hailey Van Lith is not going below. With the way this draft is, I've always said this, 3 and 20, there's very little. Like, I've seen Cheyenne Sellers mocked at 3, and I've seen Cheyenne Sellers mocked at 16. I've seen Georgia Amore mocked at 3 when it was Chicago, and I've also seen Georgia Amore mocked at 24. I've seen Georgia Amore mocked in a third round, just because of her age and height. And I've also seen her mocked at third. That's the way this draft is. So Van Lith could honestly, I think she could go as high as one of the Washington picks. She could go as high as, if Washington say, you know what, we want Kiki Iriafen, we're going to take the 2, Kiki Iriafen, Dominique Malonga, and then we're going to go and take Citron with the other pick. At 5, there is a possibility, an unlikely, Unlikely. But there's a possibility if Kiki Irfen's gone, they're like, you know what? Let us just give Hailey Van Lith the chance. Let us take Hailey Van Lith. Let's send her to Golden State. And she is not falling past Golden State in round 2. And I mean that. Wherever Golden State are, she is not falling past Golden State in round 2. And if I was somebody like the Sparks, I think the Sparks should take her with 9. And I mean that. As the like mini Kelsey Plum, I think the Sparks should take her at 9 or 10, whatever pick they have, whether it's 9 or 10. I genuinely think that's the pick they should use. If not, I think the Sky should take her with 10. If Georgia Amore is not on the board, and I think there's a debate there to even take Hailey Van Lith over Georgia Amore, she's a year younger. If Georgia Amore is not on the board, I think you take Hailey Van Lith or Cheyenne Sellers, probably Van Lith. But anyway, I'll see you guys.